Hey guys, Lofata here, coming at you with the Seraph Guide Basic PVE for Beginners. And to start with, I'm going to put up the add-on on your screen right now, just so you can have it pause or screenshot it and kind of copy it over to your Seraph, and you can put that on while you're listening to the video, right? So before we start, I am going to teach you a little bit of tech here. It is going to be crucial. It's not as apparent when you read over the skills. To start with, I have the combo up here. I'll have a much clearer text on the screen right now, just so you have more clarity for it. The main thing that I want you to do before you engage on a mob is basically do your WLMB. What does WLMB do? It gives you 10% attack speed, right? So 10% attack speed, and then you do WF, and it goes up to 15% attack speed. So that's basically it. So either one of these two, if you use them in conjunction with each other, they're going to be refreshing each other's cooldown. And one of the reasons for that is basically because of this skill right here, Unshakable Will. You definitely have to take advantage of this because you already have a 10% attack speed passive. And that's the reason why, even though Savior does big damage, she does it quite fast. And that's why, in my opinion, she does, in terms of tempo, feels a lot better than my previous main, which was Wukong. Although I will say that Wukong definitely has way bigger AoEs. But again, I'm going to teach you the basic combo that is currently working, and it might change in the future because we are expecting some buffs to Savior. One of the upcoming ones being the 1.5% increase in BSR, which means that we are going to get our Purgatum a lot sooner. But before we get to that, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate here to you the rotation. So to start off, we're going to go ahead. Let's say we just got done with a pack over here. I did try this area out despite not being capped. I switched to all-out attack just to get to the cap. We're going to go ahead and start with a pre-engage. Let's say that we just finished off a mob pack here. We're going to go ahead and gap close over to there, just like that. F, spacebar, R&B hold. Hold that, and then spacebar again, and then Shift F to get behind them. Spacebar again, S, R&B, just hold R&B. And that usually is enough to get them down. And if it's not enough to get them down, after that hold R&B, you just kind of spacebar again, and you shift LMB and shift R&B, because that is also big damage. And you can actually, as you're doing that combo, you can even just like continue that combo where you left off and just do that. Spacebar, yeah, shift LMB, shift R&B, it's not a big problem. And you just repeat, rinse and repeat, FF, spacebar, hold R&B, and it's usually enough to wipe them out. So that's essentially your basic rotation for the base form. Again, I'll demonstrate it again. Let's say we kill the pack over here. Even if you're on a tower spot, it's always good to have that pre-buff up anyway, because it's 15% attack speed. Why not, right? So let's do WLMB, WF here, FF, spacebar, R&B hold. Go through that whole duration, don't cancel it. And then spacebar, and then shift F so you can get behind them. Spacebar again, and then your S R&B, and then you just hold R&B, and they're dead already. And what you can do is you can just continue, because the packs are going to be spawning anyway. And then you can FF, spacebar, R&B hold again. Just let it go through. Boom, spacebar, shift F, spacebar again, S R&B, spacebar again, and you can just like go through the whole rotation. And basically what happens is, usually I kind of messed that up right there and got it done like a little bit slower, because I was, focusing on talking more than I am grinding. But essentially that is the rotation. Be careful with using Shift E, because it will use your 100%, which actually it doesn't matter. One tiny bit of a detail that some people seem to misunderstand is that people think that you have to Z buff in order to activate your Purgatum. It is a good idea to activate it using Z, because it is a Z buff and it will make your clear faster. But class knowledge wise, it actually is going to activate even if you just use your 100%, for example. So close this one right here. Let's open up the Purgatum combo that we have. This is the Purgatum combo. Again, you have your WF here, which will act as it is, but in your Purgatum form, your WF is actually a damage reduction, and that is why I have it there in the beginning of the combo, even though I'm facing the mob already, right? So there's not a lot of mobility in this form, but it is your big PVE form, and it's something that you need to make sure that you use every single time, because of the fact that like a lot of the moves that you have here, your shift F, especially your shift Qs, your shift R&B, your shift Qs, and all that, right? it's basically double the damage of your base form. So it's really, really good for you to abuse this. So let's say I'm going up to this pack right here. My 100% is my Shift E. I'm going to go ahead and Shift E, right? And I'm already in that form right away. So WF, RMB for the AP buff, right? Let it go through. Shift Q, Shift F, Shift L and B is actually now a charge, so you can go ahead and charge. If you get hit, it max charges right away, by the way. So you can just do that. Shift R and B into Shift E. And then you can just like finish them off with like F and then just rinse and repeat your combination. Right? So it's pretty straightforward. It's bigger AoE. So WF, R and B for the AP buff again. Hold it like that. Shift Q. Shift F. And Shift L and B charge. If you get hit, it charges automatically. And then Shift R and B, and it just cleans them right off the bat there. So it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. The reason why I have this combo the way that it is because WF, obviously. And then you have your R and B. Then after R and B, I made it basically so it's easier, especially for beginners, to be able to do it. I made sure that the successive skills all the way to the end here is just shift keys. So it's easy to remember. It's easier on your fingers, not having to like go all over the place. It's just basically just hold down shift, press Q, let it go through, shift F. That's what shift F looks like, right? So it's basically just going to be like shift Q, and then you just keep holding shift, then you shift F, and you shift L and B, you shift R and B, and then you shift E, right? So that's basically your whole combo, and you can put F in there at the end there as well, just to kind of like auto renew the buff. But you don't actually need to. You can just do WF straight into R and B again. Okay? And just a quick review of the skills basically here. This is your base form. As you can see, my tent buffs already fell off. Still enough to just kind of meet the minimum requirements before pre-buffing, so we'll be completely fine. But again, having that as a buffer at the very beginning is definitely something nice. It's more is always better, right? So let's go ahead and gap close here. So we're gonna go ahead and that FF spacebar R and B hold, let it run through, boom, spacebar, shift F, spacebar from behind. We're gonna go S R and B, hold R and B, and they're already dead, right? So that's basically the whole rotation right there. And then when these guys spawn, since you do have less range as Seraph as compared to like some classes, you just gotta gather them up and just let it rip, because it does do a lot of damage. It's just that the range can be a little sus, right? And we're gonna do the Purgatum combo again, but this time we're gonna do it proper. This time we're gonna do it with the Z buff instead of like the Shift E. I just wanted to kind of like demonstrate that to you guys earlier, to see that it is something that is a possibility, that it is something that can happen. But for the most part, I do recommend doing Z buff. So we're gonna do WF, R and B, Shift Q, Shift F, Shift L and B, Shift R and B, Shift E, right? So that's basically the combo there while you're in that form. It's pretty straightforward. You don't necessarily have to fully charge your Shift L and B, because the damage difference is that 3000%. But the thing is, if you're already seeing that you're clearing the mobs without having to fully charge it, you don't have to fully charge it. So just kind of like, depending on your AP, depending on the spot that you're doing, then kind of like judge from that, and then start to kind of like, judge it yourself, see if you need it, see if you don't need it. If you don't need it, then even better for your clear, right? But that's basically it.